Hello Rackpack, Rackmdar here, welcome back to another brand new YouTube video. Back again with Road to King of Games, Yu-Gi-Oh! Some Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links action here. Once again, as I said in the last video, this will also be a recorded while streaming YouTube video. So say hi to stream chat, they say hi to you, blah blah blah. Next stream that we're going to be doing that I'll be doing on twitch.tv/Rackmdar will be on Monday, I believe. What is the actual date? Monday, January 13th. So that is going to be next Monday. I'll be doing another short stream, probably trying to play more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links and keep climbing the ladder as fast as I can. Yeah, we've been doing pretty well, and I'm really excited to continue playing some more Duel Links. I'm really enjoying the deck that I have here for you, which is going to be Shiranui's, and I hope you guys have been enjoying the series as well. So yeah, twitch.tv/Rackmdar, be sure to follow it, mark your calendars for that. We're going to be having a good time on stream and such. Been having some fun little conversations, talking about different archetypes, talking about different theories and all that, theory crafting decks. It's been a good time. I have a lot of fun talking with the chat about that type of stuff. So be sure to stop by if you want to ask me questions and talk about that kind of stuff live. But yeah, anyway, without further ado, let's jump into the deck for today. And so today we're playing Shiranui. Shiranui is a newer archetype, came out in the most recent mini box and has since been pretty powerful. It is currently, I believe, marked as tier 2 by most tier lists, and it is definitely really powerful. I can say this from some first-hand experience. But what we have here is a more budget-friendly version of the deck. I will talk about a few things that I think would be more optimal if you were to invest more into the deck. But as this deck stands right now, it is pretty good. This is a really solid deck build. I've been able to. You'll see a replay where I beat some of the other tiered decks. There was a Dark Lords deck that I played against. There was a Dark Magician deck that I think I won against. There's a lot of this deck is really strong, and one of the greatest advantages that this deck has is it's able to really out-resource your opponent. A lot of your cards have ways to be special summoned from the banish pile and the graveyard, and it just really adds extra layers and levels to the amount of resources you can go through. So even if it looks like you don't have, like, you're out of the game, it's GG, Shiranui's can often make that big comeback with a lot of their cards and combos, and it's really a lot of fun to play. I've been honestly having quite a blast and whatnot, figuring them out and making them work. Couple of misplays here or there because once again, like, this is a newer deck. This deck is a little bit more on the big brain side. You got to really understand what your cards do and figure out how to most effectively climb into your bigger boss monsters. So, Shiranui's, they are a synchro archetype. They are these really cool, badass looking ghost samurai creatures. These are some of my favorite artworks in the game, honestly. I might keep playing these even after they kind of fall out of meta, because I just really like the artwork and design of a lot of these cards. Like, you can see, not only does it have some badass samurai souls, ninja stuff going on, it's also got the waifus. There's some waifu cards in here as well, and it's just the all-around pack of cool cards and cool archetype. And then we have a dragon monster to top it all off, because what's Yu-Gi-Oh! If you don't have a dragon boss monster? So anyway, let's talk a little bit about what these cards can do. So Shiranui Solitaire and Shiranui Squire, these two monsters are your main combo starters and important cards. Squire is a 1-card synchro. Whenever she is special summoned, you can summon a tuner from your deck. So you have these tuners here. These will be special summoned from your deck with Squire. There are many different ways to play this deck. I will let you know. Like, if you go onto the website, I think duellinksmeta.com has plenty of deck lists and whatnot, or find them online. You'll see many variations. Some of them don't play the dragon. I like playing the dragon because it's a kind of a nice little comeback card sometimes, and really helps you just pull out some wins that you might otherwise not have. But you can just play more synchros and like do a full synchro deck. Maybe even play Black Rose Dragon to get like a cool generic synchro in there. There's a lot of ways to do it. But Squire is your main card. If you can get 3 copies of Squire, that is probably the most optimal. You do not need 3 of Solitaire, but Squire for sure. It took me forever to get this card. This is why this deck list it's been taking a while. Squire, I went down to like 9 cards left in the box, or 9 packs left in the box before I finally pulled Squire. It was a pain. It was really bad. So anyway, yeah, level 4 monster summons a level 2 or 3 tuner, which can give you a level 7 or a level 6. Turn 1, you're probably going to go for a level 6. There is another way to play this deck where you play level augmentation. That will let you summon your level 10 boss monster early. I went through several different variations of the extra deck as well. I think this one is probably the best. Like, I think this is really nice, so I really like that. Your other Shiranui cards are Spirit Master. This card can special summon a Shiranui from your hand or graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field, which again, that's not going to be a huge deal. We'll talk about that too. And then we have Shiranui Spectral Shade, our level 3 tuner, and then Spectral Sword, our level 2 tuner. All of these cards have additional effects when they get banished. So that's why you'll see a lot of deck lists play Gold Sarcophagus. I do think Gold Sarcophagus is a really good card to play in this deck. Because you can really enable a lot of strong plays with Gold Sarcophagus by banishing one of these from your deck in order to activate its effect. So when Solitaire gets banished, you can special summon any of your banished monsters. When Squire gets banished, you can draw a card, then discard a card. When Spirit Master gets banished, you can destroy a face-up card on your opponent's field. This is a really good effect and combos fairly nicely with a lot of your synchros, as we'll discuss. Spectral Shade and your tuners do not have graveyard effect or banish effects, so it's just your non-tuners. Level 3 though, if it's on the field, you can tribute it in order to special summon 2 of your banished monsters. And then Spectral Sword is a really cool card. While it is in your graveyard, you can banish itself and one other card to synchro summon from your graveyard. This is why this deck can really out-resource your opponent. This card gets back your banished monsters, this card synchros from the graveyard, and then you'll find out our big major boss monster Sun Saga can recycle a lot of your synchros and just allow you to keep going forward and making a bunch of plays. Aside from that, that's pretty much all there really is to it. These guys, like all of these cards, are just really good. This card you contribute to special summon a tuner from your deck, and then you can also, when it is banished, special summon your banished monster. I think I talked about that. But this is the card that makes Gold Sarcophagus really good, because you can make a lot of your plays with your synchro monsters and then enable further plays by banishing this guy with Gold Sarcophagus. The rest of our cards here are Book of Life. This also comes in the box. This will allow you to resummon a monster from your graveyard, but only if your opponent has a monster in their graveyard to banish. It's a little bit of a downside, but I do find this deck, or this card, to be fairly good at just making your plays keep going and really giving you that power. Dragon's Mirror will be our summoning tool for our Dragon Fusion monster. Banish materials from the field or graveyard in order to summon our dragon. Raigeki Break is a pretty solid trap card from the box. Destroy one card, or target one card, then destroy it after you discard. Allows you to get some of your stuff in the graveyard if you want. I am running 1 copy of Debunk. This actually came into play a couple of times. When a monster is activated from your from the hand or graveyard, you can negate that activation. This is pretty nice because there's a lot of hand effects and graveyard effects, and I think this would be one of the big counters for the mirror match if you played against it. Sealing Ceremony of Catan. This is the only non-box non-free-to-play card. This card is obtained from Dawn of Destiny, a really old mini box. Basically, when you activate this, every turn you can banish a fire monster in your graveyard to target one card in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. This is any card, not only monsters, so this is a very nice effect. you can banish your Spirit Master, pop a face-up card, and then you can banish a card in your opponent's graveyard that might have a lot of effects. So that's really nice. This is really powerful against certain decks. I don't think I have 3 copies of it. I've actually used it. Like it sounds like a card that's kind of like but there's actually a couple of situations where you can use this really effectively, especially to get stuff like Spirit Master procced on your opponent's turn, which is kind of hard to do otherwise. So really good stuff here. And that's the main deck. Let's talk real quick about the side deck. Squire Saga, the ultra rare card, a really powerful card effect. Banish a card, banish one monster from you that you control or graveyard and apply these effects based on what you banished. So if it's a zombie, which all of them are, or if it's a fire, which all of them are, with the exception of Kiteroid, you can destroy a spell trap card and then give all your monsters a permanent 300 attack boost. And then if it's a synchro monster, you can also destroy a card on the field, a monster on the field. And these are non-targeting destruction effects, making it really difficult for your opponent to react to. Sun Saga is also really powerful. Whenever this card is special summoned, you can return any number of your zombie type synchro monsters that are banished or in the graveyard back to the extra deck, and then destroy cards on the field up to that number of cards. So if you send 3 of your synchros back to the extra deck, 3 cards on your opponent's field are popped. Very good card. Shogun Saga is a pretty nice card. This is obviously one of the cards I used probably the least. But basically, this card can banish a zombie and gain its attack. So a lot of times when you're climbing, synchro climbing by summoning him and then synchroing into him, you can banish this card and gain 2500 attack. Pretty nice. This card is just basically a 2500 monster on the field to protect you and be a decent turn 1 play. And then additionally, if this one gets destroyed, it'll oftentimes be in the graveyard with your Spectral Sword and allowing you to synchro this monster from your graveyard. So you can do some other stuff, target a banished zombie to change monsters into defense position. Sometimes that's alright. It really just kind of depends on the situation. I haven't resolved many of these different effects a lot. If this card is banished though, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and it lose 500 attack. And then I think this card, if this card is on the field, is destroyed by battle or card effect, target a banished monster and put it back in the graveyard. So really decent effects, but for the most part, these are just to help recycle your resources. And then the rest of the cards are to destroy your opponent's field. So really powerful combo deck. We have some replays here to talk about. Additionally, okay, so I do want to say that this deck could be a lot better if you used some of the top other cards in the game. Oh my god. So, no, leave. Favorites. So if you were playing, I would play Paleozoic Canadia. If I was playing this like super seriously, I would put 2 copies of Canadia in here, and I would put all 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone in here. The only means of dealing with stuff that you have at the moment is destruction, and there are a couple of times where I needed a non-destruction effect to help win the duel, namely against Necro Valley. If a Gravekeeper player gets Necro Valley onto the field with their big fusion monster, their Necro Valley is protected, and that means you can't get rid of it unless you use Cosmic Cyclone. So I would put 3 copies of this in there. There's also a lot of other great uses for it, obviously, because you can, of course, deal with your opponent's back row and banish it, just straight up banish it. So if you're playing Dark Magician, you don't destroy the navigation, you banish it so that you don't get its graveyard effect. So that's about it. Let's go ahead. That is the deck. Most of the duels that you'll see, I had 2 copies of Shogun Saga instead of Samurai Saga. I eventually changed back to having 2 of these because a lot of times if this card survives on your field while your opponent, if your opponent doesn't deal with it, then it can be really difficult to use the graveyard effect of Spectral Sword. Whereas now that if you run 2 of these, you can use the graveyard effect to summon another copy of Samurai Saga and make other plays. So that's pretty much the main reason. Oh, the skill. I didn't talk about the skill. Let me grab that real quick. Oh, no. Home. Let's just do this. Stop loading. Let's go in. So deck editor, real quick, I want to talk about the skill. So there's several different skills you can use. Obviously, you can use the one. What is the one skill? Like seal the tombs, seal tombs, or whatever it's called, in order to stop your opponent from doing stuff. You can use level augmentation, which is one of the more common ones. This allows you to synchro summon bigger monsters earlier on. And then you can use tie that binds. You can use a lot of different ones, but I wanted to try out the new Angel Baton. This is for Yusei. Can only be used on your 4th turn. Instead of conducting your normal draw 2 cards and send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. So this could come in handy a little bit because you do get to put a card into the graveyard, and it is a draw 2. Like having a draw 2 effect is really nice, and so I thought it would be pretty cool to try it out. But it's honestly not super impactful because like, I didn't resolve it too many times. Duels don't often last all 4, or like duels won't often go on that long, but if they do, you get a nice little advantage out of it. So let's go ahead and jump into the replays. Yusei Fudo versus Yami Yugi. I'm trying to remember exactly what these replays were because there was a lot of them. I played a lot today on stream. If you want to see all of these on stream, by the way, you can see all of my thought processes as I'm going through the duels and all that stuff. I would highly recommend you follow the stream, check out my my stream VODs, and see for yourself. So this was against a Dark Magician player. I believe he played, he didn't have the Dark Magic Circle. If he did, he wasn't playing it. So I activate the Spirit Master, Special Summon Solitaire from my hand, because this doesn't just activate on your tuners, this is all Spirit or Shiranuis. And then I activate Solitaire's effect to Special Summon the Shade. Then I make a really big brain play here and use the Dragon's Mirror. This allows me to synchro or fusion summon with these 2 monsters. And what I'm going to do is now I can activate both of their banish effects at the same time. And this will be very nice, allowing me to blow up his monster and then also get another monster to the field, which of course allows me to synchro with that monster with Squire Saga. I go ahead and banish the tuner instead of the Spirit Master because I do want to activate or utilize his effect in the future. He goes in for the Magician Navigation. Turned out he had 2 of them face down. And we go ahead and clear out his board. He goes with the Dark Magic Expanded, and I still swing into it because this guy's effect is really good. It puts his attack to 0 and spawns a token. So now that his attack is 0, I can swing over with Squire Saga, and then I can I suicide the token in order to clear his entire board in 1 turn. Yeah, that was really good. He Destiny draws his Oracle Mahad, and then I managed to have I only run 1 copy of Debunk, and I managed to get the 1 copy of Debunk. So super anime moment here. Debunk is activated to negate it, and then that's pretty much GG. There's nothing he can do. I set my card and go in for game. So that is duel 1. Like I said, out resourcing your opponent is very easy with this deck. Very powerful. So we can go ahead and go here. We're playing here against Mako Tsunami. Bro, that is not something. Do not advertise that kind of stuff in my chat, please. You will get... I'm out. Alright, so here, so this deck, or this duel goes on pretty slowly. This is I believe this turns out to be a... Does he have a skill? Okay, I don't know what skill he's using, but this turns out to be a Gravekeeper deck. And we go ahead, set some stuff. Gravekeepers are very annoying to play against. I hate Gravekeepers because they have a flip monster that is very annoying. This is the Angel Baton activating. I throw the Kite right away because I have 1 in hand already, and it can still have a graveyard effect to negate an attack. Kiteroid is really useful in this deck, honestly, because there's a lot of times where your monsters are just going to be destroyed from the field, and you can use them to really... your opponent might think he has game, and then you just throw Kiteroid into the graveyard. So we synchro summon, and then I swing into the Gravekeeper's Guard. flip, take one, send one monster your opponent controls, put it back in the hand. For synchro monsters, back to the extra deck. Or any extra deck monsters, back to the extra deck. Pretty annoying, honestly, but kind of alright. We synchro summon the Squire. I use the Squire to go ahead and... this is a huge clear field right now, by the way. So what I do here, after the Squire is used, I synchro summon for the level 6 monster, activate the Squire to summon and discard, and then I'm going to activate the Squire to destroy the Samurai Saga and blow up a back row monster card. Because it's a synchro monster, I can destroy a spell and trap and a monster. So that's what I do. And then I Book of Life the level 3 tuner. This allows me to synchro summon into Shiranui Sun Saga. I can now activate his effect to send cards to the graveyard, and then I blow up the rest of his field. Really powerful stuff here. Unfortunately, Necro Valley Temple was set, which sets a Necro Valley directly from the deck. And this really makes the deck just swing on for so long. I should have banished one of his Gravekeepers with my... I should have banished with my Sealing Valley. I should have banished one of his Gravekeepers to prevent him from being able to activate the Magicalized Fusion. But unfortunately, it doesn't really go in, or it doesn't really do or matter too much. I go ahead, activate the Spirit Master and the Solitaire, tribute the Solitaire, and I go into some more synchro plays. Try to get the OTK, but he does have Rite of Spirit, allowing him to resummon his monster. And this just kind of gets even more crazy. He goes into his... He fusions again because this card keeps getting more... this card gains attack based off of the fusion materials. So now he clears my Sun Saga. I forgot to mention, Sun Saga can protect all of your zombies by battle by banishing Shiranui monsters from the graveyard. Unfortunately, as you may know, I can't do that because of Necro Valley. So normally I would have been able to protect this monster and all of my other monsters, but because of Necro Valley, I can't do that. Luckily, I top deck the all-important Dragon's Mirror. Again, if I had Cosmic Cyclone, I'm pretty sure I would have drawn it by now, and that would have just ended this fool's way before this. But unfortunately, or thankfully, I still have my dragon to rely on. I banish my cards. I activate this anyway, swing in, activate the dragon's effect, and I kill him with the token follow-up. Pretty good stuff there. And that was Mako Tsunami, so let's go to Yami Bakura. Yeah, I definitely think Cosmic Cyclone should be a must in this deck. Honestly, Cosmic Cyclone just needs to be in most decks. It's a really good generic back row removal card. Doesn't destroy, it banishes, so it really bypasses a lot of stuff that people can use to protect their back row or their other stuff. So this card, so I go for the Solitaire first, and then I just set it in defense mode. This is more of a bluff, like, hey, I hope you don't have anything. And this is actually kind of scary. I thought he was going to steal my own monster, which would have been a little annoying. Manages to... so I synchro with the card with the level 2 tuner. Once again, you can use it in the graveyard to synchro summon one monster. And then I use the Squire that I banish alongside of it to resummon it back to my field. He does have a Floodgate, so unfortunately that means I can't do anything. Set the debunk. Tether of defeats whatever his skill does. It looks like it puts a monster into my graveyard, or the top of my deck. Yeah. So it sends the top of my deck to the graveyard. Turned out to be it turned out it was a Raigeki Break. Not a huge deal. We activate the Squire Saga. I do this because I don't know for sure, but I was like, can I tribute this in order to summon... like, can I tribute a face down card? Turns out you can tribute a face down card, and then I synchro summon into the Squire Saga. This allows me to banish a synchro monster, blow up more of his back row, and then I get to resummon the level 3 tuner, into the giant cavalry horse, Shiranui Sun Saga. And then I do this because, for one, he could have like Kiteroid in his hand, so you know, I just really wanted to experience the full capacity of the deck, so I can once again synchro summon in my graveyard, and then I use another Solitaire to resummon this, which would allow me to synchro summon the level 8 monster. And I was just kind of high on the, I was just kind of getting off on the excitement of like all of this crazy comboing. He just ends up surrendering because obviously because he didn't end up having anything to really use. So that's pretty good stuff. The power of the samurai. Death does not defeat the honorable and the courageous. Once again, we have Yami Yugi. I think this is another Dark Magician deck. I can't remember. I go in for the Solitaire. We don't really have much here, so I just go ahead, pull out the level 3 because level 2 is in our hand. I should have sent the level 2 to the graveyard. That was this is a misplay here, but we do end up able to play around it. And this Dark Magician player, I think, does play the Dark Magic Circle, maybe? So we do get the Spirit Master. He plays Offerings to the Doom, which banishes my Shade. And then we're playing the Sealing Ceremony of Catan. This is a really good showcase of it. This allows us to banish our other monster, the Solitaire. I think what I was doing was I was going to use this to banish the Solitaire later for like a follow-up play in order to clear out his entire board. So we synchro summon into the Squire Saga. Squire Saga is going to banish the Spirit Master, blow up his enemy controller, and then we're also going to get the face-up destruction. And then we revive our tuner, in which we would of course follow up from there as well. So honestly, the Book of Life thing is just really nice. Adds a lot of like follow-ups to your combos and extends your combos. Pretty awesome. So final duel, Yusei against Joey Wheeler. This turns out to be a Dark Lord deck, and I am really excited with this duel. Is really awesome because Dark Lords is one of the top tier decks in the game, and I was really happy I was able to beat them. Granted, he didn't play or didn't draw into his banishment, so like there was a lot of stuff he could have done, but he does end up going first. Dark Lord contacts the Yugioh, brings back the Uku back, and then this allows him to get the Sanctified Dark Lord into the graveyard. And this card can basically negate a face-up monster effect, and then all of the Dark Lord monsters have the ability to copy effects, the spell and trap effects from the graveyard by paying 1,000 life points, right? You can target a Dark Lord spell or trap card and then apply that target's effect. So he can negate one card on my field. So I actually play around this quite effectively, I believe. Instead of summoning the Squire and allowing it to get negated, I go for Solitaire. Solitaire is going to tribute itself, and this is a cost. Because it's tributing itself as a cost, he can't stop it. He can't negate this at all. And so basically this allows me to get my level 2 tuner to the field, and this is going to be the only play that we make because we have Kiteroid in our hand. My opponent does end up making some follow-up plays, sits a card face down, plays the Desire, he probably thinks this is game, right? That's 4,500 damage on board. But Kiteroid comes to the rescue, really showing off why it's a pretty good card in this deck. Enemy controller would have done the same. I could have used it to econ take my opponent's monster and stop stop all that stuff as well. But this just really shows off the Kiteroid, like being able to use Kiteroid. And additionally, he could have easily probably like Cosmic Cyclone the enemy controller or something like that, or like throwing end phase or something, like if he had it on end phase. So like Kiteroid just I think is a little bit better in that regard. So then we use the effect to activate, bring back the banish from the graveyard to special synchro summon from the graveyard, and then we bring it back to the field. and then we synchro summon again. He does activate his Dark Lord Yugioh in order to gain life points, because obviously this card getting negated doesn't super matter. I do think that he should have saved that. I do think that he should have saved that in order to negate this effect, but alas, he doesn't. I don't banish this card because I want to use it for my Squire. Or my Squire, I think it's Squire Saga? Yeah, Squire Saga. I want to use it for my Squire Saga. Banish the monster, blow up the back row and the other monster. He activates Dark Lord Tesla Kalapika? I don't know. I think what this does, yeah, if a Dark Lord monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, discard this card instead. So, pretty nice that he has that protection. And then I managed to still just swing over his monsters. And then I believe he doesn't have anything here, so we just swing in for game. And honestly, this deck has been one of my favorite decks to play. I'm probably going... This is pretty much 100% guaranteed to be the main deck that I climb with the King of Games. So I hope you guys really like this. I think we're going to end it here. There's going to be plenty more Shiranui content to come in the future. This is going to basically be the main deck that I climb with. So stay tuned for some future episodes. What I'm going to do is continue streaming this, probably playing on the side. Once again, twitch.tv/Rakamdar, January 13th, I believe. Yeah, 13th is the next stream. It's going to be on a Monday. It's probably going to be very similar to this one. Hopefully my internet doesn't give out, because I actually had some internet issues, so I can stream a little bit longer. But for the most part, this is how it's going to play out. We're going to continue climbing the ladder, chatting with you guys, seeing how you guys enjoy, or answering questions, all that stuff, just having a good time playing some Yu-Gi-Oh! And what I'm going to do for the YouTube series is similar to what I don't remember if I mentioned this. I kind of mentioned this during the update a long time ago, but basically, whenever I'm about to hit the next rank, so whenever I'm about to hit, for example, Platinum, right before I hit Platinum, we're going to hit record, and I'm going to kind of showcase that climb into Platinum, or the failure to hit Platinum, whichever it ends up being. So, and then of course all duels will be available on my Twitch channel, so I would mean quite a lot if you could go in and follow there. We'll be playing some Legend of Runeterra, should be coming out soon, so if that's what's been interesting you, I can only there's only so much I can do, so hopefully that'll come out back soon for all of you guys watching or wanting to watch that. Without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please, of course, subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to be notified when more videos go live. We'll be trying to get more content as much as I possibly can. We do have more people at my job kind of working, so I have a little bit more free time, I think, to kind of start recording again. But I am in the process of looking for a new apartment due to my roommate moving out and all that. I can't afford this place if my roommate moves out, so I will be on the process of looking for an apartment, which could kind of make the creation content process a little bit slow. There may be some more kind of breaks in between videos, so I do apologize for that beforehand. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling on right now. That will be it for me. Shiranui's awesome deck. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.